Rock Solid Radio wants to thank Maxwell Construction, who has been our sponsor since the very beginning. For over 30 years, Maxwell has delivered the highest quality projects by holding to their core values of customer satisfaction, positive attitude, respect, and excellence. So if you have any kind of commercial construction need, give Maxwell Construction a call today at 812-537-2200.
Welcome to Rock Solid Radio. This is Merrill Hutchinson sitting alongside my better half, Linda Hutchinson. And Linda, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I have my hot tea. By the way, in my fall time mug. I know it's a little snowy out sometimes, but do you know what I found on our refrigerator the other day? Actually, this morning.
What?
So I don't even know if you
fingerprints.
This. Well, that too. But on the side of our fridge, there's this little pumpkin. It's like a little clothespin pumpkin, and it has Zachary on it. And Zachary is 28 years old, and that little pumpkin has been sitting on our fridge for 24 years. He probably got it in preschool or kindergarten.
Is that a sign we don't
I almost was going to take it down.
We don't clean the front of our fridge very often.
On the
Is that what that's a sign of?
But it's been a little note holder. But like I was going to take it down because pumpkin season's over, getting ready for holidays. And I'm like, oh, I can't take that down.
Yeah, well, you probably made that, in kindergarten?
Yeah,
something
it's so
like
cute,
that.
Zachary.
There you go.
Oh,
isn't that cute, Zach? Mm-hmm. All right.
So to all those teachers out there that make those little things, those little crafts in the holidays, and you think their kids' parents just throw it away. No, I keep mine.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I mean, that's why they make them, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just so precious.
Think about how disappointed teachers would be if all those kids took those home and the parents just threw them right in the garbage.
So there's a little wreath that one of our sons made, and it was with his handprints, and it was green little paint handprints, and it was the cutest thing. But his hands are so small, oh my gosh! So I love getting that stuff out of the holidays. We're talking about the holidays today, by the way.
For you gentlemen out there listening, okay, it's just stuff we have to deal with. I haven't walked around the house going, look at the little pumpkin. All right, but hey, that's why we're wired differently, okay?
I know.
All right.
That's why it's not been taken down.
Yeah. So here we are. We're in this time of year. We've had a couple little snowfalls already. The kids are already going, when are we going to get some snow days? When are we going to get some snow days? They look at you like, our youngest one looked at me the other day and said, Dad, how many snow days are we going to get this year? I'm like,
am I a prophet?
I don't know. I mean, but he feels like there's already like a preset amount that he's going to get. And, I'm like, he's like, well, but because you've seen how many days you normally get. And I'm like,
no.
Nick, I don't have a clue how many
and the
snow days you're
weathermen
going to
haven't
get.
been great. I mean, I know our daughter did a little snow day dance a couple weeks ago because they were talking about slick roads in the morning. And so she's literally wanting to cancel her alarm, and then literally nothing happened. She was so disappointed. So we're really talking today about the right holiday mindset. And that's just a great segue of just really how do we set our minds and our hearts on getting through, not just getting through these holidays and surviving, but thriving and enjoying them. And so we're really talking about that. And Hun, as we were writing the show and talking about the show, I was like, I need to listen to this show because this is an important topic that a lot of people are talking about and really worried about.
Well, Hun, it's a show that comes to, and it's a time of year that comes to expectations. And that's kind of a little bit of how we're going to approach this and how we get our mind right for this. I'll never forget when we had our very first child,
who's now 31.
Who's 31, and you had been working pretty much almost up to the day of delivery. You remember you went way deep into that. And then we had our son, and you stayed home for a few years to help raise him and everything. And I remember how frustrated you used to get. You get so frustrated, and I would come home, and a few times you were in tears, and you're like, I don't know, maybe this just isn't for me, and all that. And I remember you're wired to, you get up and you have to-do lists going already.
I have a plan.
And you have because that's how you feel accomplished. And 1-year-old doesn't necessarily allow anything to be accomplished except for dirty diapers and feeding. Okay. Yeah. And I remember how frustrated, and I remember just saying, well, you're not meeting your expectations. So, it's time to change your expectations. And that was so hard because you're like, well, then I won't be doing anything.
Right.
It's
I won't
like,
be productive.
well, but you're being a mom. So, so it does come down to that so often. And so here we are. Remember, Christmas Vacation, the movie National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and they go to cut the turkey, and all of a sudden, they're all anticipating, they all have an expectation, and all of a sudden, it just poof, it puffs, and it's nothing but some dry rack of bones, and it's like the letdown because of the expectation was so high, and so that's what happens on these holidays. That it's not like, everybody is having a bad time. It's that oftentimes when things do go bad is because expectations were not met well.
What's the dad? What was the dad's name? Griswold. But what's his name?
This is embarrassing.
I know, this is really bad. But
it'll come to me.
Okay, it'll come to you. We were just talking about this today at a meeting. But his expectations were so high.
Yeah.
Like he wanted the ultimate tree. He wanted the best lights in the neighborhood. He wanted everybody to get along. And so as the movie progressed, it was kind of just a play on the fact that they weren't going to get met, and it was going to be he's going to make him miserable if he didn't change his expectations. So that's kind of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Man,
all right. So is it Gil?
Oh my gosh, you guys are out there listening, and I'm sure you're like, this.
Well, look it up when I start doing the commercials here.
Yeah,
all right, so we want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Casey's Outdoor Solutions and Maxwell Construction for being longtime sponsors now of the Rock Solid Radio show. And so we want to thank those guys. As I speak, we are going to be doing a little bit of speaking at the Maxwell Construction Christmas party this year. And so we just want to thank those guys for inviting us. They continue to be strong supporters of our community and our messaging.
Clark
Griswold. Clark, yes. So for all of you that were out there making fun of us like we're idiots, well, we may be idiots, but we have a computer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about a couple of announcements first. And these are the announcements that it's that time of year also as we are coming towards closing down on 2022. We look at the ministry that we have at Rock Solid Families, and this is our time of year that we always have a big push, a big ask for the funding, for the donations, for the support that it takes to run this ministry. We have literally seen thousands of families now at Rock Solid Families. Each year since 2018 till today, we have continued to grow. The number of counseling sessions is just continued to be an upward growth. And because of that, that's a good thing in the sense that, our name's getting out there and we're helping more and more people. But it's also a challenging thing because we can't always meet the need. We don't always have enough hours and resources to do all of the coaching or counseling that we do.
Just the metrics a little bit. We average about 25 new families every month.
Yeah.
And we're going to have about 300 different families this year and over 1,000 coaching sessions this year. So we know that, and it keeps growing, right? We've been in ministry for 4 years now, and it grows every year. And so we know we're the lid. There's just two of us. And so we know that the need is great. And so that's why in 2023, one of our goals, 2023, is to hire a new coach. And preferably one to work with women and teens, girls, because that's the need. We see 2-to-1 ratio really of women to men and teenage girls especially and young adult women. And so we want to really hire someone to really impact that need.
We really have, we're seeing more and more as we work in Rock Solid Families that we have, we knew this all along, but now we're seeing even more, it's more solidified in our mind. As we've talked about before, the new hire of the coach is going to be almost more for the emergency room work that we do. When people come in the here and the now, they're coming in because there's a crisis, there's a bad situation going on. But we don't want to spend all of our time coaching. We want to be on the other side of this as well. And so all of those hours that you just talked about in coaching, that's great. We want to be able to provide a level of that. But we also want to do what we're doing here. We want to do the podcasting because we want to be on the front side.
The education side.
We were in a planning meeting today for our local community, and the school folks were talking about how they don't have enough counselors. They don't have, and there's counselors in every building now, okay? But there's a waiting list for kids to be able to get help. And yes, we do need to provide that help, but more than anything, we need a 10, 15, 20-year push on, we got to get families strong here. Because the best counselor that your kid will ever have is a healthy mom and dad.
Yes.
And that's, Linda and I see that all the time. Like parents will bring their child in, their 6 or 7, 8-year-old child in and say, hey, can you counsel my child? And it's like, now, chances are we're not going to do much good there. We never say never, but we're better off helping the parent be the parent they need to be in that situation because they're with the kid 24/7.
So we have a group called Healthy Moms. It's a Facebook group. You have a Facebook group called Strong Dads, and we meet every other week. And so we were just meeting today, and we were talking about the fact that, the best counseling room is around the dinner table, is driving in the car, it's at bedtime, laying with your child. Like those are the counseling moments that you and I can do as a parent that saves you a lot of money in therapy and does more harm, better use of your time and energy than a once a week going to a therapy session. And so I'm not saying that therapy, there isn't a place, but I'm saying that we're missing the mark on really what's right under our own roof, and that is mom and dad, healthy.
Yeah. So with that being said, if you are coming to the end of the year and you're seeing your finances and you're seeing it in your heart, please consider us as part of your contribution with your funds. That's just something that we've laid out for you, what we're trying to do at Rock Solid Families. We only do this through your help. And so if you would be so appreciative of the work that we do and to support us in that way, we also certainly we need your prayers. We feel like Satan knocks on our door, both personally. Linda and I, we feel attacked within our marriage at times. We feel like our family gets attacked. We know that Satan would love for our marriage to fall apart, for our family to have struggles because of the witness that it would put out there to the people in our community. And so we need your prayers for sure. So please help us with that. But anyway, if you can think about it, put us on your charity list.
So you can go to rocksolidfamilies.org and push the donate button and just see really the options to really give back. So Giving Tuesday is coming up here in just a week or so, or week and a half. And so we would love for you to be a part of that. So yeah.
All right. Let's talk. Okay. So, we were grumbling about kids and snow days, and all of a sudden we got turkeys that are exploding up on the dinner table and things aren't working out.
I haven't even put it in the oven yet.
Yeah. And so the idea is, okay, let's get our mind right. What is the right mindset for the holiday season? And you asked at the beginning of the show, well, what are you going to say? Like, how do you get their mind? Well, it's different for everyone. It depends on what your situation is as to how you have to prepare your mind. But what we want to do is be able to talk about some different things that you guys can do to actually make sure your mind's going to be right to handle the different situations you're going to be in.
Yeah. So I love, we were talking about our mindset. Immediately I thought of Colossians 3:2, where it says, set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. And so I would say, regardless of the situation and the dynamic of your family and where you're going to be on Thanksgiving or Christmas, that we set our mind on things above, not on earthly things. And so I would also use the word that I use a lot, I probably overkill it, and that's the word healthy. And so what is a healthy mindset based on what you're going into, whether it be very big dysfunction, whether it be huge, whether it be a lot, whether it be, whatever that is, maybe overwhelming to you, stressful, like set your mind on things above. And so that's what we're going to be talking about.
All right. So get your pen and paper out because we're going to give you 6 keys to get your holidays on the right path with a right mindset. Okay. The very first thing, it comes down, we use this all the time in parenting, right? It comes down to having a predetermined idea of what you want out of the days, how you're going to approach the day. So not just going in randomly and have the day, but like, well, how do I want to approach this day? And so, you see people do this oftentimes. They'll say like, you know what, this season, I'm going to make sure that I don't let this bother me.
Yeah.
Or this year during Christmas time, I'm going to make sure I do this.
I'm not going to sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. We're going to spend more time on experiences this year rather than gifts,
Yep.
So you set up a predetermined approach to how you're going to go about some of what could be chaos.
I'm not going to let that mother-in-law kind of push my buttons. I'm not going to let that my child's cousin kind of take my child, down that ugly road of chaos when they go to grandma's house. Like, you're going to have to not only set the tone for your own mind, but also your family dynamic. If you are walking into a very chaotic, very dysfunctional, unhealthy home, okay, it's really important that those in your circle, those that are under your control, kind of know, like, what's the expectation? Okay, your cousin may be swinging from the chandelier or climbing on the roof at grandma's house, but that's not what we do. Okay, guys, does everybody understand that? So if your cousin does that, you say, I can't. Or I'm not.
Yeah, bring your family or the close people in your life, bring them in on the predetermined approach, because if you have the approach that your kids are going to behave and your kids don't know that that's your approach, then you set yourself up for failure.
Or let's say you always sweat over gifts, buying gifts, and so you decide no more gifts, that we're going to do experiences. Like you said, we're going to take this money and we're going to go on a little trip.
But you fail to inform the kids, is that what you're saying?
It's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, you better let them in on that secret.
Christmas morning, just like the Thanksgiving turkey on Christmas vacation. So, like, is that all there is, Mom and Dad?
But I have heard a lot of parents who have sat their children down and they've done things like this.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to spend Thanksgiving and we're going to go serve somebody else. Or on Christmas, Jesus was given 3 gifts. I've heard that a lot. So we're going to focus on 3 gifts, okay? You guys get 3 gifts. And so, like, there's different traditions and different ways that you can predetermine, like, this is what we're going to focus on.
Man, I don't know about that 3 gift thing. Whew, that'd be tough as a kid.
Honey.
I'm working through my stuff.
The kids are going to listen to this.
All right, number two, okay? Be very clear about the negative emotional triggers that are going to be there, okay? Now, there might be some that you get triggered on that it came out of the blue and it caught you, okay? But those that I know, we all have that one family member that pokes us wrong, okay? We all have the mother-in-law, father-in-law that just puts in a jab somehow. And listen, they've been doing it for 25 years, you knew it was coming. So
or the child that's ungrateful when they open their gift.
Yeah, they open a gift and they're like, oh, is this all I got? So, I mean, know your emotional triggers in advance and have a plan for what you're going to do with them. When the mother-in-law makes that sort of out of bounds comment, if you act like it's the first time you've ever heard it and you get all emotionally stirred, it's kind of on you. You knew the punch was coming. So have your plan for whether you're just going to, step out, take a deep breath, smack her. I mean, whatever you're going to do.
Okay, I'm just going to brag on your mom. Okay, Ruth.
Yeah, you can do that anytime.
Ruth has gone to be with the Lord, but the holidays were so fun for her. She loved the holidays, and when she couldn't host it anymore, when her home wasn't big enough, she insisted on Thanksgiving and Christmas that she was going to do the turkey for us. So if I was hosting Christmas, which I do, she would do all of the cooking for the turkey, the dressing, the gravy, the Waldorf salad, because Merrill likes Waldorf salad.
Merrill gets
Waldorf salad. But she would do all of that. She would cook it. She would slice it. She would bring it hot and warm and ready to go. Can I just tell you, I miss Ruth and her turkey.
Yeah. When she did, I mean, I know it was exhausting, but she did it with a really
she loved
open heart.
Yeah,
she loved it.
And I was so thankful for that. But, not every mother-in-law is like Ruth, and loves to do those things. And so if your mother-in-law comes and sits on her hands and doesn't help at all, and that just really triggers something in you, then really get in a different mindset and really expect that it's not going to be any different this year and that you're not going to let that ruin your holiday.
Yeah. All right. Number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3. Now, this might be contrary to what a lot of people think when it comes to guidance in life, but this is a necessity.
This is how you
if
get
you're
through the
going to
holidays.
do well through the holidays. Set your expectations appropriately, and if you're going to err on the side of setting them low.
Yes.
Okay. In other words, not everything has to be perfect. If you believe in your mind that everything has to be perfect, it's pretty much the guarantee. It's no different than the wedding day. If on the wedding day you have the expectation that everything has to be perfect, you and everyone else is going to be miserable. But if you can kind of go, you know what, we're going to go with the flow. We hope it works this way, but if it doesn't, we've got the plan B set up. And you get to the end of those days, you're like, wow, everything worked out great. So
that's where you get the bridezillas.
Well, yeah, that's where they come from. And it all comes through expectation. And so when you have a lot of different things going on, you have a lot of different forces pulling on that day, you just can't control all of them. That's the problem. That's expectations can be fine if I'm in control of all of the different influences. But when I don't, then I get crazy.
Okay, I might be guilty of this.
I'm not going to say anything. Let's go to step 4.
Because, we have kids and grandkids that come in town, and sometimes it's the 1 or 2 times a year that they're in town. And so Mama Bear's got all of her little, chicklings underneath her roof, and she is so excited, and she's got all these ideas. She, meaning I, have all these exciting things that I would love to go snow tubing with them, and I would love to go tree cutting or whatever those things are. And then life happens, right? Or kids get sick, or we're tired, or, not everybody can, like the past couple years, it's COVID has been like a home wrecker, where all of a sudden, like half the family can't come in because they got COVID. And man, if you are just setting yourself up, you're going to be so, like you said, disappointed and sad on what could be a really beautiful time. And so I have tried to lower my expectation of, even if my house is a mess and half people can't come in and we don't get to even leave the house or whatever, it's still going to be a great week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll go to 4.
Okay. Sorry. I got excited about that. I love this topic.
Yeah. Okay, so step 4. We've used the phrase before, your response is your responsibility.
Yes.
Okay, and we do use that all the time in our coaching work with couples and parents. And the same thing goes here, like how I respond to any situation is really up to me. And I have a choice to make. And so in step 4, or key number 4, we're actually talking about making a conscious effort to see the good in what is going on, to focus on the good. And part of the good, especially during this season, is gratitude. Maybe not everything worked out this way, but we are thankful for this. We're thankful for the fact that we had the family members that we did. One of the most, I'd say, challenging things that we've had, I'd say, in the last 10 years, since our older boys have gotten older and started their families, we don't always get to have everybody home for the holidays. We've had a number of holidays where our older kids have not even been home.
Right.
And man, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. But it's like, okay, rather than spending all your time being upset with the 2 that can't be there,
right.
You better celebrate the 3 that are there.
Yeah.
And so that's our choice to do that. And so we're asking you, think about the good here and don't get stuck on the bad.
And even if like you're cooking the turkey and it turns out really dry, instead of getting all worked up and upset that, I ruined Thanksgiving. No, just kind of laugh about it, blow it off.
Aren't those the best mashed potatoes ever?
That's because you make the mashed
That's right.
potatoes.
I'm the mashed
He has
potato
little
king.
secret ingredients
secret
that he
sauce.
has to have. But anyway, so yeah, an attitude of gratitude will get you far in the holidays.
All right, we ready for the 5th key? All right, so the 5th key. Now, you know what? I'm going to let you take the 5th key. I'm going to let you take the 5th key.
Why are you saying that?
Because I think you probably understand it better than I do.
Stop it. You're making fun of me. You're making fun of me. Go ahead. No, just go ahead, because you wrote it in, and it's important.
So the 5th key is you get all excited about everything that's going on. Okay, you're probably also working. A lot of you moms out there are also working a full-time job, taking care of kids. Okay, be sure to build in some downtime, build some margin into your calendar. And so as you hear this show today, you hopefully are hearing it in advance of the holidays. Pull out your phone, pull out your calendar, and today build in nothing days or nothing periods. Like, on that Tuesday, that Thursday, you know what we're doing? Nothing. Okay. And the reason for that is you are going to be doing something. You're going to be licking your wounds. You're going to be recouping. You're going to be resting. Refueling. And that's the idea. Like, if you want to enjoy this, honey, you've said this many times, you love kind of a rainy Sunday because people can kind of lay around and there's no hard expectation. And there's sort of a healing that goes on from the craziness of the week.
Yeah. Okay, so why did you have me wanted to do that?
Well, because the other side of it, you do love the holidays as much as anyone I know, and you get very excited about it. And you want to do so many things. You do want to go to the Festival of Lights. You do want to go snow tubing. You do want to cook the big meal. And then all of a sudden, you start to get a little bit tired.
I crash and burn.
And you're like, what happened? And we're like, well, your afterburners have been burning for the last month. So
I think the grandkids are helping with that because they need naps.
Yeah.
And so, like this 1 to 3 kind of time or this 12 to 3 kind of time, it's like, what do you mean we're going to stop and take naps? I want to go take them to Perfects and go tubing. And they're like, no, it's nap time. And so everybody else wants to take a nap too. I guess we're taking naps, So it's really important. You're right. It's so important to refuel, to rest, to have a reset button. Moms, we are horrible at this, especially now that there's things called Pinterest and Instagram, where we're seeing these specialty cookies that you're making and these special wrappings that you're doing on these boxes. Like I see that and I think, holy cow, like that takes a lot of time and work. And so you don't have to be the Pinterest mom, okay? Your holiday doesn't have to be the Instagram holiday. What are you laughing at?
Well, because I get most of my gifts from Tractor Supply, and they come in a Tractor Supply bag, and isn't that good enough?
And you usually buy it on Christmas Eve when I send you out because we have 2 more people left to buy for, and I don't know what to buy for them. It's usually Merrill's dad and my dad. Usually it's those 2, so...
Yeah, so build in a little bit of margin a little bit earlier.
That is an important one. That was number 5.
Yeah. All right, number 6. And so we would be 100% remiss if we really did not go down this road. And that is identify in advance and have conversation in advance about how you are intentionally going to build up your spiritual walk with Christ during these holidays. Okay, like what are you going to actually do? What's your church plan? Are you going to go to midnight mass? Are you going to go to a big church celebration? Are you going to read a certain book? Are you going to be listening to a certain kind of music? Like, where does Jesus fit in all of this? Or are you so built around the consumer side of it that you really lost sight of what the reminder is supposed to be here?
Yeah, gosh, and that is so important. And I'm guilty. I mean, I remember when because our family has different holidays that we're in charge of. And so mine's been Christmas Eve and sometimes Mother's Day for like the last 20, 30 years. And so it was hard to fit in Christmas Eve Mass or church. And then it was like, holy cow, like that's pretty pathetic that I'm skipping the spiritual piece to get the turkey done. And so I can't leave that part out. Our kids need to see it. Our families need to focus on that. Like, how are you going to give back and show thanks during Thanksgiving? How are you going to be generous in Christmas time, not just buying everybody, iPods, like what is it that you're going to do to show them Christ comes first? Jesus is the reason for the season. It's just not a great Christmas card.
Yeah. And I'm even, as you're talking, I'm thinking about so many different services that we've done, church services over the years. And sometimes those can get crazy. Because you have more people than ever that are attending. You have to stand up at church when you never have to stand up at church, where you can't find a parking spot. And so if you just take a little bit of time in advance and actually say, well, let's let's go here, or let's do this. Maybe it's a different tradition that you build, but it is a Christ-centered tradition. Maybe that could be even more valuable than all those other things. There's nothing worse when you're at church and you're angry, you're upset, you're frustrated, and something's not right there with the flavor of Jesus in that moment.
Yeah. One of my favorite family times, and I know it drives your family crazy, but now they're getting you kind of used to it, and that is the family prayer before these holidays.
Why would that drive? That doesn't drive my family crazy.
No, it drives me crazy when I want to take a picture.
Oh, when you take the picture of it. Yes. Because
I want to capture this moment, and I don't do it while we're praying anymore. I used to do that. That was wrong. So I kind of like make them pretend like they're praying. But
once again, staged faith.
But this is so, to me, it is a picture that I never want to forget. And now I've captured some of those moments with family members who are not there anymore. And man, that makes that circle of faith and that prayer time even more special.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes it circles the family room, the living room, the kitchen.
Yeah.
The circle's so big. We have 30 to 35 people at our house for Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And so, but I love it. It just warms my heart to see that family of faith circle up, children, grandchildren, cousins, aunts and uncles, and we circle up and we just give thanks to a God who has provided all this for us. And that just makes it special.
Yeah. And think about the message that you're sending on to the next generation. And the only reason why we do that is because somebody sent it to us, right? Our grandparents and parents did that. And so that's a huge way that we continue to. It's not an empty tradition like many traditions can become. It's one that has purpose, especially if everybody honors it and respects it and understands why you do it. So, on Psalm 69:30 says, "I will praise God's name in song and glorify Him with thanksgiving." And so, these whole holiday seasons that we talk about, from Thanksgiving all the way through to Christmas, and even into New Year's, is just that whole time. If you want the best holiday season you can get, thanks is where it starts, right? That whole gratitude, looking at your glass that's half full rather than half empty, and being appreciative of that is just a great place to start. It doesn't mean that your life's perfect, doesn't mean everything's going well and you live in with rose-colored glasses. It means you're making a purposeful choice, a decision to see what you've been blessed with.
Yeah. Now, hun, this isn't in our notes, but I honestly want to bring this up because I've heard this recently and it's so important. There are unhealthy people out there. There are family members. We were just having conversations about this today in my mom's group of, what if your family isn't healthy? What if they're literally toxic or very, unhealthy for your kids and grandkids to see? And so my question to you is, what are you showing your children? What are you demonstrating to your family? Because I heard a therapist say one time that if you completely cut off your family, let's say we're not doing anything with our family because they're messed up, okay? And so you just cut them out and you don't get with them at all in the holidays, okay? And you think that's the healthiest answer. Be very careful, because what you do is you set a tone to your children that when you have conflict or disagreement or don't like everything about somebody, you just cut them out of your life. And so when they get older and they disagree with you, guess what they're going to do? They're going to cut you out of their life. And so we kind of have this mentality in our culture today is that if you don't agree with me, you hate me.
Yeah.
And if you don't agree with me, I can't have you in my life at all. And man, can I just tell you, that is so toxic and so dangerous, because it sets a precedent for division and divisiveness and just ugly down the road. So even if you see family members that aren't the healthiest and you don't agree with everybody around the dinner table on Thanksgiving or Christmas, can I just tell you, have the right holiday mindset. Make an effort to at least put yourself in a place where you can be around and be healthy, even if you aren't with healthy.
I think that was a perfect challenge.
Yeah.
That was a perfect challenge. So I think, as you said there, you get to choose how you're going to handle all those situations. But remember, not just the situation you're in, but the eyes that are watching that, the next generation. So think about that. All right. So pretty much we gave you 6 keys to survive and then thrive through the holiday season.
And to have the right healthy mindset.
Yeah, and enjoy it, because I think one of the things it's not just another day. The holidays are different because they're another set of memories, right? They're captured by cameras, they're captured by emotions. And so the idea here is this day is going to be a little different because it's going to probably come with a memory. How was your last Thanksgiving? How was your last Christmas? And so you have an opportunity here to make it a good memory.
Yeah, everybody has a cousin Eddie, but he really made for a great TV show. I wouldn't want to live with the guy, but I could see him a couple times a year, and I could really keep myself healthy around him. But I do think that we need to be the light in the darkness. And that's what God's called us all to do. So we pray that your holidays are blessed and joyful. I pray, God, that you stay healthy through them, whether it be Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, as you said. So we really hope that this show is important and that you listen and share it.
All right. So again, we want to thank you guys for listening. Please do us a favor. Give us the 5-star ratings on whatever platform you're using. That helps us in the sense of being up on the search engines. Share the show. I would say more than anything that we appreciate, it's sharing the show because it also feeds into the ministry. The number of people that have come to us that we always ask people, how did you hear about us? And they'll say, well, somebody shared a show with us because a certain topic that we were covering seemed to hit home with them. And so that's the deal, right? If that's the case, that's bringing people in to get help rather than get stuck. So share the shows with us. All right. We also want to thank Maxwell Construction and Casey's Outdoor Solution for their continued support. So support them so that they can continue to support us.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening to Rock Solid Radio, building a stronger community, one family at a time. Happy holidays and make it a great day.
Rock Solid Radio wants to thank Casey's Outdoor Solutions. Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. They offer a wide selection of high-quality plants, landscaping materials, and home decor. They do amazing high-quality work and can help you transform your indoor and outdoor living spaces into something beautiful. So stop by Casey's Outdoor Solutions today and let them know you appreciate their support for Rock Solid Radio. Visit Casey's today at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana.